Friends, how are you doing? God, I'm excited about this market. I know a lot of people are in panic mode, chaos, but I think this is fundamentally great position to, get back into SoFi, even Palantir for what's coming here. And obviously, there's a lot of bear talk out there. There's a lot of talk about, this is a bubble, it's going to pop, AI bubble, no, all this kind of stuff. And we've been hearing this kind of talk here for the whole year. People have been saying that. I mean, people have been saying, like, don't buy SoFi, it's never going to go past $15, $20. Don't buy Palantir, it's never going past $100. And go, okay. And those people are still down there going, that's fine. But we, the ones that have chosen to go on this journey, we will continue on this journey. So friends, I hope you are doing well. Let's talk about Palantir. I want to talk about SoFi, obviously a lot here, but I think fundamentally, I think these are going to be two of the most life-changing stocks that people, individuals, institutionally, privately, everything will and can hold into the next 5 to 10 years for what's coming here. I honest to God believe that with what we're seeing. I think these are going to just be more, I think, 10, 15 years from now, our kids will be looking at these stocks, these companies like, oh yeah, SoFi, oh yeah, Palantir. They'll just be like a household name. But like they will be known. They will be talked about in movies, TV shows, commercials. It will just be, they will be there in the infant structure of day-to-day society. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? It's just what it is. It's more like, 5 years ago, if you said NVIDIA, people would be like, what's NVIDIA? And still, of course, there's people like, what's NVIDIA? But NVIDIA is becoming a pretty well-known name at this point. People have heard that. So let's get into it here. Let's start with Palantir here. Now, I want to talk about Palantir real fast. I have been an avid believer in Palantir, and I still think, and I do believe the Palantir will go to $200 here. Probably has a very good shot here as long as we get the market back here soon, which I believe we will. I believe investors will take the market back here soon. This Jerome Powell news will just fade away as it always does. He's got to do his Eeyore thing, and that's fine. But with that, Palantir just had signed another partnership. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, they just signed another with Boring Defense Space and Security Partners with Palantir to accelerate AI adoption defense. So it's just continuing. This is what we've been talking about. The Palantir is just going to keep finding these big companies, global companies, and this is what is going to keep driving up price here. So this is obviously has money involved, 100%. When Q2 with Palantir came out, it was a defining moment. They went over $1 billion+. And with this, when that happened, right before that quarterly and right after that quarterly, Palantir received deals before and after that quarterly, okay? So there's going to be stuff on Q3 here that wasn't even on Q2, okay? And Q2 was $1 billion+. So analysts are easily at this point, I don't think there's anybody in their right mind that has mathematically can just do simple math can say that Palantir is going to miss this quarterly. The analysts, even at this point, I mean, the new projections that are coming out here with Palantir, especially with this deal, they're price estimating Palantir like over $200 at this point. That it's going to, I saw one just a moment ago, I read $215. So, it's happening. It's not a secret at this point. We know what's coming with this Q3, Q4. I can't imagine what's going on with that. But Q3 here, this could be a billion point, point 0.4, 0.5? What if it's over 0.5? $1.5 billion. Oh my God. This is what is going to keep driving up this price here with Palantir. So I somewhat think that Palantir is bigger than even I can imagine it. I very much, at the beginning of the year, I was like, Palantir is just this really unique AI company that's really pushing into their bread and butter of technology. And that with a very outspoken CEO that I'm glad he's like that. I like when CEOs talk. And to take it, leave it, what you want with him. Everyone has their own opinion about Alex Karp. But two, I look at Palantir right now and I go like, is Palantir something like a Tesla, like an NVIDIA, even something like an Apple, where people aren't understanding the structure of what is happening around this company right now, where 5 to 10 years from now, they could just be this infrastructure, this country of a stock. I mean, just like of a company where they're just we can't even imagine what is coming here with Palantir, with their software, with what they're pushing forward into, and they're obviously becoming so popular in defense. European market, especially here in the United States, adapting just more and more in that right there. So I look at Palantir and I somewhat think like we're just in the baby stages of probably what's coming here. I don't know that we've gotten to like toddlerhood. We definitely haven't gotten to like teenage years with Palantir to where this thing is like up and like just moving around and just really doing crazy things. I think we're just seeing just the beginning stages of just, this baby company really starting to get somewhere right now. And that's a very exciting place for us investors. I mean, if you're able to buy up, build up, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 shares over the next 5 years of Palantir, it's probably going to do very good for you because, a lot of us that are in Palantir that have been here, I think a lot of people would agree that Palantir, $200, okay, that's pretty much attainable at this point. We're at $10 away from where we've been. The thing here too is that Palantir could easily, within 2 years, maybe it could be a $500, $800 stock. Maybe it could be a $1,000 stock. Maybe it could just get so stupid. I really don't know why people become so bearish and so, just depressing, so just negative about things like this, because there are companies that just defy what can happen in the stock market. We've seen it time and time again. Nvidia's done it here lately. Tesla's done it multiple times where they've just made a market, they've made a product, and they've put that in the market, and they've just created this whole new thing. Palantir's doing that, and when you do that, it's hard to really pinpoint price action on something like that. And Palantir is proving that, like, hey, this thing could be $200 by the end of the year, or it could be $250 by the end of the year. We're only at Q3 here at the end of October. Plus, on top of that, we're talking about potential second rate cut, which will just drive up the market again. So Palantir has a lot of, way to go here. I mean, just my God, getting into 2026 here. I mean, I can't even imagine where we're going to be this time next year. I really can't. I mean, it's very exciting. But with all that said, with those stock price, those share prices that could be happening here in the next 5 years, we could definitely be talking about stock split, 4-to-1, 3-to-1, 5-to-1, how big a stock split could we be talking about here? That's when things really get interesting for a lot of people. That's when things, if you're able to go into the future here with 10, 30, 40, 50 stocks, maybe you got 1,000 shares, shares, 30, 40, 50 shares, or, 1,000 shares, whatever it be, this is going to be life-changing, monumental movement in your life, in your portfolio for you and your family. So yeah, I think people are crazy to not buy Palantir, even at $200, even at $250. What is Palantir going to be doing then? Are they still going to be rolling out deals? Probably, I would imagine. So if you're in Palantir, maybe you bought Palantir at 180 last week, something, you're like, oh my God, why did I buy Palantir at 180? And you're like, I'm going to panic. You're thinking about panic selling. Obviously do what you want to do, but I'd pump the brakes immediately. Friends, this Q3 is coming up here regardless whether you want it or not, and it is going to bring insane prices along with it, price action. So I would be very concerned for people that are about to share their portion of Palantir. I think that is absolutely the wrong decision personally for me. Because I think it's pretty safe to say, even now that we've got articles coming out and saying like, hey, Palantir more than likely will be at $200 here very soon, and we expect these next quarterlies to be well over what they just did for Q2. Palantir is still aggressively getting deals. And right now there's no, there's no signs of it stopping. It's just when it gets quiet, it gets loud again real fast, and that's what's going on with Palantir here. So yeah, I can't listen. I'm not going to be bearish on it. I'm just not. I am not going against Palantir. I'm not betting against it whatsoever. I think it's ludicrous to bet against that company right now. It's just insane. You just have to, if you haven't, you have to just admit defeat and just push into it, or just say, hey, I just it is what it is. I think people even buying the stock at $200 will make a ton of money. That is the reality of what's going on with the stock right now. That is just, yes, it's expensive. Yes, it's hyped up. Yes, there's way too much inflation and fat probably in it right now, but there's a reason why, because they keep getting deals, because they are so much in this culture of the most popular stock in the market right now. They're just the zeitgeist of the market right now, 100%. And I don't know that it's going to stop. Palantir could be even more popular in 2026. That's the reality of what we're going into here. In SoFi, SoFi obviously has pushed back here, when we look at the stock price, but still at a very high price. I mean, this is still great price action for SoFi, 100%. I mean, the fact that we're holding this 28, I was honestly, I was kind of selfishly hoping that SoFi here would struggle a little more at low $27 range, because I was gonna buy up some more in another account, but we didn't, and we might get there tomorrow. Who knows? The rest of this week in the market, Friday being the last day here, we may not turn the market around here by the end of the week here. We may just kind of close out, what's going to happen. But next week, I would highly suspect that people are going to start buying up things again, that will see the market tick back up here. Investors will slowly start to take the market back, because investors know what's around the corner. What's around the corner? Quarterlies are going to start to come up here. We're going to be starting SoFi. They've got quarterlies coming up here. And SoFi is in this position where I still think SoFi is undervalued. I still think it's undervalued. This is a company that is so close to releasing billion-dollar quarterlies. And once they release a billion-dollar quarterly, that's going to be a big bull flag on this thing, where a lot of people that maybe didn't believe in it, maybe left SoFi for a minute. Maybe that's going to draw them back in. It's going to shoot out a lot of, popularity over the stock, a lot of spotlight over it, where people are going to be like, okay, well, they're producing billion-dollar quarterlies now. It's still under $30. Maybe it's $35. Maybe it's just $40. They're going to get into it, because, once a company starts producing $1 billion, that's a huge momentum, leap into something different. Okay, that's a different kind of thing for a company. Once they start producing $1 billion, they don't have debt. Their guidance is still amazing. They're still grabbing a ton of customers. SoFi is being ran so well right now. It's unbelievable. I mean, this right here, sorry, my nose is itching like crazy. This right here is literally like if you were to teach a class on uprising, new coming companies with stocks that are publicly traded. SoFi is essentially almost the perfect example of price action. I still think it's undervalued for what's coming, but price action to what they're releasing quarterly, and is, trailing at this beautiful rate when it comes to quarterlies, but still a very affordable stock. I mean, I think this time next year, SoFi has all the momentum to be, I'll just be honest. If I'm gonna say it publicly, and there's gonna be some people that get upset by this and call me names. That's fine, but it wouldn't be the first time. I think SoFi can be $100 stock. I really do. I think SoFi can be $100 stock by next year. And I say that because, look at what happened to Robinhood this year. Look at what happened to Robinhood. Robinhood was a company that doing well, obviously, but it went from that $600 million range, 700 million, 800 million. Then it just leapfrogged into $1 billion quarterly, and then that really got a lot of people's attention. Then they kind of downslid a little bit, but still very much up in this great position. But SoFi is positioned to me so much better as a bank, as standing strong on the foundation of what they are, to really hold true to keeping billion-dollar quarterlies going here into the future and moving at a faster rate, getting into a $40, $50, $60, $70 position here going into next year. Now, obviously, too, these rate cuts, if we continue to see rate cut here at the end of October, rate cut at the beginning of December, then Jerome Powell's out in May, then we start seeing another push of rate cuts come down the pipeline here. SoFi is going to run, baby. This thing is going to, you're not going to be able to catch it. You're going to be like, oh my God, what is going on here? So this is the calm before what could be coming with the storm here. And obviously I'm relying on the Feds to do what they say they're going to do these rate cuts. But with what's coming here at the end of October with a potential rate cut, from what we're told, SoFi releasing probably the biggest quarterly it's ever released. Yeah, this thing's going to run. This thing's going to run. So I guess what I'm trying to say is 20s, we may not see 20s much longer. 20s may be a thing of the past here in, 5 to 6 weeks. We may never see 20s again with SoFi here. I mean, that is just that those days may be done right here. So take your pictures, get these while you can, these prices, because this may be it right here. That is a real statement. I truly believe that. Friends, I wish all of you the best of luck. I really do mean that. Good luck today, ending out this Friday here, and I think we will do well going into next week. I think investors are going to take the market back here very soon, and like I said, this Jerome Powell news will end here very soon. Friends, take care of yourself. Bye, everyone.